Now, moving on, do you still support impeachment? And do you think that Democrats are just as guilty as Trump, or if not just as guilty when it comes to the what happened in Ukraine, what when it comes to the emoluments involving Biden, Nancy Pelosi, her son Paul Pelosi, Joe Biden, and Hunter Biden, and John Kerry, and his son, as well as Adam Schiff?
Yes and yes. I support an impeachment process that holds any official accountable for the theft of public resources, period. And that unfortunately includes too many corporate Democrats. Nancy Pelosi's impeachment process didn't include the president's corruption. And just before we chase that rabbit, it also didn't include the president's human rights abuses or incitements to violence or lies to the press and Congress and the public. Putting all that aside, just to focus for a moment on the theft of public resources, because Nancy Pelosi refused to examine the president's theft of public resources, her impeachment process is destined to fail. And I hate to say I told you so. I wish so many times that I would be proven wrong more often. But I saw this coming a year ago. I wrote in writing a year ago the case for impeachment that would have won. And for 6 months after that, Speaker Pelosi sat on her hands. And then finally, when a whistleblower forced her to show up for her oath of office, what she ran was this limited, deferential, so-called impeachment process that took off the table all of the president's worst crimes against our republic. And in doing so, a bunch of things happened. First, among the things that Nancy Pelosi effectively did was issue a tacit invitation to any future president to steal whatever they want from the American people. I'm not okay with that. Another thing that Nancy Pelosi did is issue a tacit invitation to any future president to lie through their teeth about anything, from the size of their inauguration rallies to whether it's snowing in Washington, who on the phone they talked to, they said what to and said back. I mean, it's preposterous that he would get away with any of this, let alone the incitements to violence and the human rights abuses. And the reason he's getting away with it is because Nancy Pelosi decided to say most of it's okay, and it's not okay. If we brought a real impeachment process that pulled the thread on corruption, it would not only bring down the Trump administration, and this is why corporate Democrats aren't going there, it would bring down half of Washington. And that's why they're not bringing it. I think Pelosi and her team and others correctly understand that if they invoked the charge that the president is stealing from the public, knowing the president, his response would basically be to say and document all the ways in which, yes, so are the rest of you. Another way of putting that is that we, the people of the United States, are currently paying profound constitutional costs for the corporate corruption of the Democratic Party because it has built a glass house from which it is unable to throw the stone necessary for accountability. And while, what the Bidens did with appointing, letting their son be appointed to the board of a foreign energy company might not be illegal, it should be, because it's flatly corrupt and it's obviously corrupt. And it's that kind of corruption that makes, I'm going to go back about maybe 15, 20 minutes in the conversation. Craig, you were mentioning how, there's this body of transpartisan critics of corporate rule who understand that the system is rotten. And many of them are the ones who, for better or worse, put Trump in office because they're not ideological. Yeah. They're just concerned and alarmed, right? And this is a way to meet those people where they are at as well.